Michael Azzi with us, and the first race of the afternoon gets underway just after midday. Number 9, Game of Thrones. JP van der Merwe, one of your good old faithfuls, does duty for you.
Yes, Andrew, well, obviously it's no secret that JP is retained by Adrian now. So JP pops on board him. He's a decent horse, this horse, but his biggest problem is in his head. If he decides that he wants to run, he could hold his own in that field. It wouldn't be a problem. So we just got to worry of which Game of Thrones is going to get to the course on a day, the one that wants to run or the one that's full of antics. But at the moment, his work has been pretty useful. He's a fit horse at the moment. He last run where he needed the run badly, but he's in good order at the moment, and I'm expecting him to run a good race.
Have you done anything different in terms of trying to get on top of his temperamental behaviour?
Yeah, we've had Milan work with him, and obviously Adam works extensively with Milan when Milan's here, and he shows Adam what to do. So Adam keeps reschooling and playing with him and doing the normal thing with him, and it has helped him. He's a horse that's gets a bee in his bonnet and sticks up and refuses to go on the tracks and that, but we've got him going forward at the moment, and let's just hope that he runs well for us.
It appears to be a good reason for Panjo's poor performance last time out, but he's clearly much better at that, and his ability is not in question.
Oh yes, Andrew, look, the time before when he beat Scott Kenny's horse, I think it was more that Scott Kenny was looking after his horse's rating. He knew where he was going to, and he knew when he wanted to win with him. So I think that day Scott's horse had a soft run, and Panjo flattered himself. And I warned the handicappers to be careful about that, because obviously people were looking after horses, and as when Pierre got off, he said to me, "Hal, this was run above himself today." But he's more than capable of beating that field. Healthy respect for Stuart Pettigrew's or Secret Magog. It's won in good fashion there on that track, so I have good respect for that horse. But Panjo's horse, if you've got him moving well and he's not having his niggles and aches and pains, he always runs a cracker. And at the moment we've got him in good order. I'm expecting a top run from him.
Okay, Riverine Forest, first leg of the place accumulator, cracking win last time out, and it is a strong field, but looks like there's still plenty more to come.
Andrew, she's a small filly, but we don't really know how good she is, because when we run her first time out, she was well in need of the run. She missed the break by 3 lengths. Samanga never batted an eyelid on her. He cruised through the field and won with consummate ease. He didn't even come under any pressure, and he said to us, "This is a fair horse." She has come on a lot from that run, but we've got a horse in that race, I think Zav of Species, had won in good order. The horse that runs second behind it, Stay Amazed, of Lucky Udalakis, who's won in good fashion the other day. So healthy respect for Zav. It looks like a tough field, but she's not without a chance.
Yeah, and you know, she's just going to need the run. It is her first time on the sand, but she's a big, strong filly. Works very good at home, but like I said, she's going to need the run. She'll improve with the run, but I do give her a place chance.
It's an open type of race, Andrew. I think she enjoys the course and distance. She'll give a good account of herself, but it is an open race, no real confidence.
Okay, we're talking about a tough field. The sophomore Whirlpool Hirsch's 3-year-old fillies once again sees the highly talented Bang Sue, Party Peg. There are a whole host of really good performers, but you've got Flame Cat with Striker aboard.
Andrew, I think she's the horse that we've got to beat. I know Bang Sue's a decent sort. I was very impressed with Bang Sue when she won her maiden, but I had a weak filly that ran just behind her that day. But Bang Sue came out and won in facile fashion when they put her on the dirt. Obviously a daughter of Rat Birano, is no secret how good Rat Birano was. She won the Alan Robertson fillies, and I beat her with Stratos in the Empress Club. So if that was just anywhere near what her mother was like, she'd probably give us a tough go. Flame Cat has flattered to deceive. She's let us down a number. She seems to be the perennial bridesmaid. But I think that if she puts her best foot forward, she is the filly that we're going to have to beat. And I'm very, very happy with the fact that we got Pierre Strydom on her, because she's a filly that needs a thinking jockey. She's got a lot of early raw speed, but she needs to have that speed saved for something at the end. And she definitely gives if you do. But if you allow her to bottom out with you, that's when they catch her in the finish. And Gavin Lorena always used to ride her fairly well. You know, she ran 2 very great seconds to Majmou with Gavin. If you put Majmou in this race, she'd empty out. So if she brings that form to the racetrack on Saturday, she's the horse that they're all going to have to beat.
Yeah, obviously Flame Cat's got all the Group 1 form. Bang Sue's won on the course, and she's coming back from a rest, so she will need the run, whereas Flame Cat's had a run already. But like I said, she's going to improve. She's very fast, so I wouldn't underestimate her. and I think we'll make Flame Cat run.
What firepower do you bring to the party, Sean?
This filly's form on the course and distance is good, but obviously if you look at the merit ratings, we're way out, and yeah, we'd be happy with the place.
ISPHAN, you've always had high hopes for him. At last he started to deliver 2 consecutive victories, and he looks like he's on his way now.
Yeah, well, Andrew, it's up the straight. So some people say the big numbers are good up the straight, and others say the small numbers up the straight. So we don't really know. That race, if you look at ISPHAN's last 2 runs, you say, well, he's the horse they have to beat. But you've got Precursor in there. Now, Precursor, I beat him with Mighty Manzi. Mighty Manzi won't be running on Saturday. I'm going to be scratching him. I'm just not happy with where he is. I think I could have him a little bit fitter, and I don't want to hurt him because I think he's a proper horse, and his horse is going to win me some fairly useful races later on in the season.
Okay.
I have healthy respect for Precursor. I think over the 1,000 I might be a little bit better than him. I think over the 1,200 he'd push us. But there's 2 horses in that race. One is Roy Magner's horse, Prince of Orange. His times were quicker than my horse. He impressed me when he ran first time out, and I was even more impressed when he won on the dirt the other day. I think he's a decent sort. Another horse, if he doesn't bleed, is Baron Burtis' horse. He bled first time out in the same race where Mighty Manzi beat Precursor. And then they gave him a long rest, which was a forced rest because he was suspended. And he came out the other day and never, ever came off the bit. It was a joke, actually. Dion Sampson was posing from the time the pens opened past the post. So big respect for that. He's drawn close to me. He's going to know about pace, let's put it that way. And if we can test him and we can get him to bleed again, we're going to force him. So he's not going to be able to go and canter in front because we're going.
The Emerald Filly Stakes, listed event over 1,450. You've got Lady of Kildare, and she's certainly a filly that could get into the action according to the computer form.
Yeah, she's taken to the sand very nicely, and her record's good. She doesn't enjoy the kickback, so if she gets in behind, then that's a race over. But based on the form up to now, we must have a good each way chance.
Okay, and then a horse that was well and truly beaten last time out, but the weights really favour him here. It's a masterful bit of engineering on your behalf to get Brooks Club in with 50 kilograms after the Group 1 form that he's shown as a 3-year-old. And this horse has done a lot of racing, but he seems equal to the task.
Andrew, it's always been my intention to get him into this race. He's a very, very small horse who's had to lump some big weights at times. So I did run the risk of not getting him to qualify, and I played around with him and kept him off the dirt deliberately so that he wouldn't pick up a massive rating and get hiked up by the handicapper. Because I knew if we're going to have any type of chance in this race, I had to get him at the bottom of the scale. So he's in with a definite chance, but I think we've really got our time cut out beating Dom Zaki's horse. I watched that horse as a young 2-year-old one day where Claire were just on before July Day, and I said to Dom what an amazing specimen he was, and he won on July Day that day.
Yeah.
And I said, don't you want to geld this horse? And he said, well, the owner will never let me geld him. I said, because this horse looks like a candidate for gelding. And they kept him an entire, and they gelded him late in his career. And since they gave him the unkindest cut of all, he's undefeated. So I think he's the horse everyone has to beat. He's got a big weight, but Gavin knows how to ride horses with that weight. My poor horse had 64.5 last year, and Gavin nursed him. And I honestly believe had they not cut into him at the start of the race, he would have won with that weight with Gavin. There's a couple of unknown quantities on the dirt. For me, Whiteline Fever is another one of the big shot. Sean Tarry is nobody's fool. He wouldn't just nominate him to take up space just for fun. You know, Sean, he likes to be competitive in these races. Whiteline Fever is a horse that I've always loved. He used to stable in my stable here at one stage. I honestly believe that if he handles the dirt, he's the horse that could push the big boy Jamboree to the line.
Yes, I am quite happy. Across the Ice hasn't got the draw, but I think he's the one of all of them that could afford not to have the draw because he comes from off them. He couldn't make use of a very good draw. I don't imagine. Funny thing about him, he has won over 1,400 on the grass, but not on the sand. He's nicely weighted, and I think he'll be running on. Even though 6 is his best, I don't think he'll disgrace himself. Whiteline Fever, obviously, big question mark whether he'll go on the surface or not. he's always been a good workhorse, and he seems to travel on the sand well enough over here. Obviously, the distance is right up his alley, and he's got the draw and he's got the class. So it's just the one question that isn't answered. But it depends what condition they've got the track in on the day. I mean, if it's loose as it's been over the last few weeks and months, we're going to be in trouble, because that just favours the speed horses that get away well, and everything else seems to be in trouble. But I think it'll be a lot fairer if they can get a lot of moisture onto the track and give everybody a fair chance. That said and done, he has got a lot of in his favour, Whiteline, and let's see what happens. Tap Tap, also a course and distance horse, obviously better over the mile, but he's got no weight to carry, and if you look at his penultimate run to the favourite, he's very much in the race, and 30-1 could prove generous. The obvious horse to beat is Jet Jamboree. He's got everything in his favour. He's a worthy favourite, and I think everybody's going to have to get up to beat him.
Yeah, Andrew, since being gelded, he's a different horse, and he's been plagued with problems. I mean, he's had a tendon op, he's been plagued with wind problems, and thank God, since the op, things have gone smoothly, and I'm looking forward to the Emerald Cup Day.
He just shows such enthusiasm for racing. They're going to have to beat Jet Jamboree in my book.
100%. Scott Kenny's horse was behind us, but in both starts he had it with Jet Jamboree, but he's on the up now, Scott's horse. But you know what, mine is also on the up, so we're quietly confident.
And you're racing for R1 million.
That's it, Andrew.
I personally fancy Jet Jamboree. I think he's been the class horse throughout the season, and I think if he can just reproduce his last few performances from Barrier 1, I think it'll be very hard to beat.
It would look, at early stages, it would look to me, horse like Jet Jamboree, Shadow Line, they would be the ones to beat.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what to expect. His work's been good at home, but we've never raced him out of the yard before, so he's a lovely horse, big, strong animal. He will improve with the run, but he's pretty fit. He loves the course and distance, so I'm expecting a good run from him.
One of your strongest runners of the day would appear to be in the final leg of the jackpot, the Emerald Hotel Hampton handicap over 1,000 metres, and that's Blazing Elm.
Yeah, he's taken to the surface, and his record's good. He enjoys the course and distance, and he's got to be a big runner with 52 on his back, Andrew.
Okay, and if there's a South African that has a pseudonym that is appropriate, it's your father, the guy from Dubai, running in race number 10.
Yeah, he's Mr. Consistent. He won his last start, very good win, hard-fought win. First time on the sand, he is by right approach, so I don't see any problems, but you never know until they're at the race course. We've got a good draw, and if things go our way, we'll be a massive runner.
And of course, with Whiteline Fever running earlier on in the day in the Emerald Cup, you'll have some sort of an idea as to how the right approaches go on the sand.
Yeah, well, generally they do take to the sand, but Whiteline Fever, I suppose he's a very decent horse on his day, and if he does, must be a massive runner as well.
The scratching of Capricorn Ridge, it looks like Henry Higgins and Guy from Dubai are the likely horses to beat in race number 10, but you've got Mauri Blue, who seems pretty solid, Sean.
I've decided to put the blinkers on Saturday just to give him a little bit more gate speed and get him into the race a little earlier. It is an open sort of a race. The two you mentioned definitely have chances, as well as Corne Spiss's horse. Yeah. And we're just hoping for a decent showing.
As far as the day is concerned, if you had to nail your colours to the mast and pick one or two that you'd really be hoping to bring back stake checks with, which would be your pick for the day?
I think Blazing Elm might be the horse on the day. Obviously, Lady of Kildare's got strong claims, and I wouldn't write off my horses in the big one. They've all come along very nicely. Just something to bear in mind is that the yard has been a little bit quiet. We've had a few coughs and splutters going around, a couple of temperatures here and there, so there is no real confidence, but we'll be happy to come away with a winner.